Sometimes when you have an interest in what's happening in your neighborhood, my neighborhood, you could say, being is China and Southeast Asia, so to speak, some people would just really tick you off with some misinformation, like this guy. His name is Jerry.
States that citizens of China enjoy freedom of speech, of the press, of assembly, of association, procession, and of demonstration.
He has lived in China for 22 years. He has cycled all around China and would say that he's been to Xinjiang. Yep, I've seen the videos of that, but he can't find any kind of so-called concentration camp or re-educational camp because he never actually went to the coordinates. That's a different story. He, a couple of days ago on YouTube, and he has every right to do this on YouTube, saying that there is freedom of speech in China. But what it says in the government law, like the amendments there, they say they do have freedom of speech, like he mentioned at the very beginning.
Different, because everyone knows free speech isn't allowed in China, right? Wrong.
So with that quotation, he is saying that freedom of speech is there in China. He will go on to say that, but you can't do free speech related to hate. So, do you have freedom of speech? I can quite easily say, I hate the Prime Minister of England. Or if I want to, I say, I really love Putin. Or I hate Joe Biden. No one is coming. But if I said in China, I hate Xi Jinping on social media, or down with the CCP, then things will happen. And we have evidence to prove this, while he is just being a CCP shill saying that there is freedom of speech and there isn't in England or Wales or Spain or wherever. Let's continue.
They can say and do what they like. They can complain. They can protest. They can demonstrate if they want to. Many of them told me something I already knew.
So they can complain. Let's look at the whistleblower of COVID-19, the doctor in Wuhan. Li Wenliang was a Chinese doctor who warned his colleagues about early COVID-19 in Wuhan on the 30th of December 2019. Wuhan CDC issued emergency warnings to hospitals. Before they issued all of this, he went to the police station saying, do not do misinformation. So, freedom of speech, he quoted something and the government said, no, you can't do that, don't do it again. And look what happened to the world. Freedom of speech, Jerry? Well, you also said they couldn't complain. Well, there is this telephone number all in China called 12345. It's the local hotline and you can complain about what you want. But this is the catch. If you call, you have to give your ID number. You have to give your ID number, and if it's something about the government, then maybe they would come and take you away and put you in the police station. China is one of the most surveilled countries in the world, and it's all done on facial recognition. So when you saw the protests in the latter part of November saying down with the CCP, there we go, I have freedom of speech, I can say it. When they did say it in China, what happened to them? Well, a couple of days ago, maybe 5 or 6 days ago, I did do an article of this girl who was in part of the protest or nearby the protest, who, like many of the protesters, which we did cover 5 days ago, and it was also covered on Laowai 86 show a couple of days ago as well, had this lady talking about her situation. Freedom of speech? No. Freedom to protest about something sensitive? No. They let it be. There were no violent clashes, but afterwards, because of state surveillance, people disappeared.
现在我委托一些朋友在我被失踪后把这段视频公之于众，也就是说当大家看到这段视频时，我已经被警察带走了。12月18日，警察又陆续以刑事拘捕的名义将我的几位朋友悄无声息地带走。他们在拘捕令上被要求签名时，罪名栏是空白的。警方也拒绝告知他们的关押地点、时间和罪名。我们对失去生命的人充满同情，所以我们才去了现场。在这一场成千上万人参与的悼念活动中，在现场我们遵守秩序，没有和警察产生任何冲突的情况下，为什么还要悄无声息地带走我们？这一场报复是为了什么？为什么要用我们这些普通青年的人生作为代价？我们不想凭空被消失。
This is what upsets me about some of these people on YouTube who do the propaganda. Another one is that we covered 1 or 2 times on this channel is Jason Lightfoot. He is saying everything is okay in China. There are no hundreds of deaths when you can see videos related to crematoriums and hundreds of people. The next guy, Jerry Good, he says he's going to do a live feed every single day, but he hasn't done one for 10 days, for example, and starts to shout at some people about the Uyghur situation. Yeah, he's just basically a liar. This guy is Alex Reportify, a Canadian guy who works for iChongqing. He's actually quoted saying, "Oh, wouldn't you wish that all the leaders in the world were like Xi Jinping?" Really? This guy is Brian Beletic, an American guy who lives in Thailand, basically saying that everything about the world is America's fault. Even the Ukraine war, a thing with Taiwan, the thing with Myanmar, American interference. Oh my God, it drives people crazy. This one guy, Fumunde Fernando, and basically even I contacted him one talking about the Panama Papers way back in 2016. His reply was, "What are the Panama Papers? Come on." All these guys near enough live in in China, minus Brian. And the final one who has been absent for a while, thank God for that, is Daniel Dumbril, who lives in Guangzhou or Shenzhen, around that area, always saying it's America's fault and calling some people white supremacists. It's ridiculous, because if he talks about the Uyghurs, for example, he would only give one example out of millions. It does frustrate. Now, let's move on to something a little bit brighter, away from the doom and gloom of this channel, and let's see some sport in China. I know I'm going to get a few complaints about this. I know I'm going to get lots of thumbs down with this related to it. I'm just giving you what people see from Western media, what people see from netizens, real netizens in real China, or what it's really like. In other words, not mainstream, and they managed to get this publicized on Weibo for a couple of hours, and maybe using a VPN to get it over to Twitter, Facebook, or to YouTube, etc., etc. This is how the world is, and this is how the Chinese government works. They pay these foreigners to do influence and saying everything's fine. In most of the cases in China, living in China is okay. Don't do anything wrong. The same as any other country, you'll be fine. But there are limitations. In America, you do have freedom of speech, I would say. People can agree, people can disagree. Unfortunately, there are some more violent issues related to that, but it is freedom of speech. Again, you can say, I really don't like Tim Cook. I don't like Bill Gates. I think Nancy is a complete bleh. Whatever you want, you can do it. People can agree, people can disagree. You can do it on the internet, you can do it anonymously. In China, you can't do it anonymously because you are surveilled near enough wherever you go, even when you buy a roll of toilet tissue. Please do share this video on your social media. It really The word needs to get out. Please do watch some great YouTube channels. I'm going to put the link in the description below. One is LaoY86, one is Serpent ZA. Both of them have been in China for a long time, now live in the United States. Another guy is Free China, Lewis Hand. He does videos called Free China. He lived in mainland China for 7 years and 2 years in Taiwan, now back in the UK. All these are in the link. There are others, but I think these are the best three, and they do near enough weekly shows with all of this. Like and subscribe to the channel would be fantastic. And if you do want to support financially, there are many ways, again, in the link in the description below. Thank you to everyone. God bless and have an awesome day wherever you are. Thumbs up. Bye-bye.